cusp of moving into one of the top countries of the world. But unfortunately, the skills of our people do not match our aspirations. Here at Vishwa, we started out in a small way. We started with computer training. Fortunately for us, Rotary and some people have donated computers to us. We teach 10th class students, inter students and degree students so that when they go for jobs, they don't get rejected. We teach the basics like Excel, Doc, ChatGPT, how to market. The basics we teach because most of them cannot afford computers and they have no access to them. And similarly, we have something called celebrations. Celebrations is celebrating your loved ones on their anniversaries, on their birthdays, on their death anniversaries. You can contribute to any of the causes that Vishwa showcases on its platform vishwa.org. You could, Annadanam for instance. There are a lot of people across the country who, when they go to hospitals, they come up from far off regions and the little money they have, they keep it aside for the treatment of the patient. They sleep on platforms, they hardly eat anything. And we give them food every afternoon on Fridays and it makes a lot of difference. There are similar such fundraisers. Please feel free to celebrate your loved ones with any of these causes.
Vishwa's commitment towards zero waste and a long way to go in achieving the goal begins with our material donation drive. Conducted twice a year during Diwali and Ugadi in Hyderabad, this drive collects clothes, books, toys and other used or semi-used items for the underprivileged. Contributions from over 615 plus families have benefited around 2,800 individuals, providing essential items and support, bringing hope and dignity to them. Through these efforts, we transform the waste of some into the treasure of others, promoting sustainability and community welfare.
Namaskaram everyone, a very good morning and welcome to Vishwa Talks. My name is Pratyusha. I'm the host for today's session. Thank you all for attending today's event on Zoom and for those who are watching on YouTube live. For those of you who attended a Vishwa Talk before, a very warm welcome back. And for our new joiners, here is a bit about Vishwa Talks. Vishwa Talks is here to create awareness amongst people and to protect our social heritage and to let people make their own decisions. Here, we invite experts to discuss and explore diverse opinions, different perspectives, various issues, problems, and their solutions on various fields, including art and culture, healthcare, environment, education, and many more. So far, we have covered over 200 plus talks. Each webinar is an interactive session with deeper understanding of the topic at hand. If you miss any part of the session, if you would like to go through the previous session, please visit our website or Vishwa Talks YouTube channel for full library of our past Vishwa Talks on interesting topics. Good morning, everyone, and warm welcome to Vishwa Talks. It's a pleasure to introduce today's speaker, Ms. Aparmita Deshpande. Aparmita is a speech pathologist and a founder of Coblot Creative Lab, a story-based learning initiative and integrates language development, literacy, and social emotional learning. With a strong background in neurologist communication disorders, education, and creative design, her work beautifully blends science with imagination. Through immersive story worlds, Aparmita helps children build clear communication, emotional awareness, confidence, and joy in expression. Kobol's flagship offering, a monthly story program, supports children aged between 1.5 to 14 years through original South Asian-inspired stories, audiobooks, playful activities, and expert-guided parent tips, nurturing language, creativity, and emotional growth. Today, Aparmita will explore parent-child interaction and play using stories and props, sharing how simple storytelling and imaginative play can deepen connection and strengthen communication. Over to you, Aparmita.
Hello and welcome to the talk today. I'm very excited. Thank you for joining me, taking the time out on a weekend and joining me to learn about play. Play is really interesting and a very, very interesting topic for me. It's because I love to play. Like I loved to play when I was a kid. I had a lot of friends. I had a big social circle in my apartments. And if you're all 90s kids, okay, I want to point out a little bit to parents who have joined from our WhatsApp groups. This is a session for parents and educators, and it's okay if your child joins along with you. It'll be a nice session for them as well. But this session is primarily designed for parents, okay? So yeah, so that's one little announcement. I had made it on the WhatsApp group as well. I know we're all missing the storytelling sessions. We'll start soon, but this particular session is designed for parents, okay? So yeah, what I wanted to tell you all is play is very interesting for me because I used to love playing, and that's how I basically related with my friends, with my siblings, with my cousins, and that's how I remember interacting with them when I was a child. I remember a lot about how we used to play, what we used to do, how we used to play in the backyard of my auntie's place in Paper Town, Bhadravati. And I still write stories about those play sessions. So imagine the kind of impact it had on me, that still at the age of 34, I remember those incidents and I still write about them. So that's how play is quite an integral part of all of our lives. And this is something that I want you all to learn. I want to sort play into different categories and explain to you the different types of play and how you can also integrate structured play in your day-to-day activities, and what can you learn from the structured play. So it's a very hands-on session, and unlike the past sessions that I conducted at Vishwa Talks, these are not very scientific. They're not neuroscience heavy, so don't worry. This time it's very open-ended and playful, and we only have a few scientific slides. Rest all is activities and games. Okay, so yeah, I want to start the session today with an interesting activity. Okay, so I want you all to tell me. You see, Bibble. Bibble is a very beloved character that we have. Bibble the fairy. She's tearing these paper pieces. All right. I want you all to tell me if this is play or this is not play. Is she playing or is she not playing? Just yes or no in the chats. No. Yes. Okay. Yes. Okay. Anyone else? I want you all to interact. Yes. Okay. Yes, you're all right. She is playing. Even tearing pieces of paper is play. Okay. And my sister used to do this a lot. She would get into a tub. She would have like bundles of newspapers and she would just keep tearing them. All right. And she would fill up her tub with shreds of paper and then she'd make confetti out of it. That was her way of playing. Yes, this is so cool. It strengthens our motor skills. Yes, you're absolutely right. So if you're named as a guest, I'd request you to Also, rename yourself so that I can address you. Otherwise, I would just call you guest. All right. Rakesh, can I have the next slide, please? Okay, this is more interesting. Bibble lines up insect toys again and again. Okay, these are toys that she has, these grasshopper toys, and all she does it, she lines them up. Is this play or is it not play? Yes or no in the chats, please. It's play. Yes. Okay. Play. Okay. Anyone else? Yes, it's play. Yes, it is play. It is a repetitive kind of a play, and a lot of kids play this way. If you've seen videos of kids, arranging their, and I'm sure your kids do it too, arranging their animal figurines, all the figurines that they have on like a long table. Yeah, like it actually improves their sequencing skills as well. Yes, so it is play. It is play. Yes. Next. Yeah, Bibble pretends the bugs are talking. Is this play or no? Yes, very much. Yes, yes. Good. Yes, it is pretend play. And all kids do this. It is very normal. So actually, like since I work in a clinic, a lot of the parents who come to me, they ask me very normal things like my kid is, arranging these toys in a sequence, or just blabbering, or babbling and saying nonsensical things to toys. Is my child okay? And I'm like, your child is perfect and amazing and hitting all the developmental milestones, so don't worry about this. Okay, so yeah, pretend play is very normal. I'm sure you all also did it as children. And yes, yes. In the next few slides, we will learn about different types of play, right? And yeah, it's going to be a very interesting session. All right, next slide. What we're doing here from the next slide onwards is I want you to listen carefully, okay? Because this is your role as a parent. So Nini and Bibble, Nini the witch and Bibble the fairy, are two of our very beloved characters. So think of Nini as the parent who is guiding little Bibble, the fairy. All right. So I want you to explore your role in your child's play. All right. So Bibble is building a tower. It falls, she starts again. It falls again. All right. So what would you do as Nini? Would you show her a better way so that it doesn't fall? Or would you stay quiet and just watch? And look, there are no right or wrong answers. I just want you to be honest and introspective and think about who you are as a parent. What role do you have as a parent for your child's during the session, playtime session? Okay. So a lot of people are saying A, a lot of people are saying B. Very interesting. Yeah. Sometimes my impulse would be to just like correct it. But my general nature is to stay quiet and observe. And sometimes I just ask the child if they need any help, if they need help with the towers or if they need help. And then I would make it a little more child-led so that the child doesn't feel like I'm trying to be intrusive or control the playtime is what I would do. But yeah, it's all like very subjective and there are no right or wrong answers. Okay, can I have the next slide, please? Yeah. So this is also interesting. During play, Bibel suddenly says, "No, don't touch." What does Nini do? What do you do as a parent? Explain why sharing is important or pause and notice what the no means. Okay. B. Pause and notice. B. Quite a diverse crowd that we have here. Very nice. Yeah. It's very interesting how you're also introspecting now as a parent. All right. Can I have the next slide? I won't tell you my answer because I don't want to confuse you all and be like, okay, this is the right way to play. I want this to be a more introspective session for you all. All right. So we looked at a bunch of examples on how Bibel plays. So technically, there are these different types of play. Okay. One is exploratory play, touching, tearing the paper, throwing, repeating, sequencing. Sequencing can also be grouped under constructive play, right? Constructive play is, stacking blocks, even arranging like a lot of these interesting figurines that can also come under constructive play. Repeating a song, dancing to the same song is also exploratory. Okay. Um, Pretend play, symbolic play, as we all know, it's actually my favorite kind of play because I'm into storytelling and we do pretend play and role plays a lot. So, pretend play and symbolic play is when they're playing with their dolls, giving them dialogues, playing with the kitchen set, all make believe. When a child gives you, okay, here, mama, I made you some Maggie. Pretend to eat it now. So I've done this so much in my life. I can't even count how much I've done this. All right. Talking toys, puppets, these are all pretend and symbolic play. And people have done some very interesting things with pretend play, which is, just puppeteering or say any kind of drama, theater, movies is all imagination, right? It is somebody's imagination and you're seeing it on screen. So they just took that pretend play from childhood to the movie theater. Yeah. All right. So, repetitive and regulating play. Some kids love to do the same thing again and again, right? If they're playing with with the same doll, or if they're dancing to the same song, so it can also come under exploratory or repetitive or regulating play. There is another kind of play which is relational and social play. And this is done with many people around, and that is the best thing that I really loved social and relational play because I grew up around so many kids that I loved to collaborate. I love to come up with like different concepts together. And this is something that I still do in my career. I love to collaborate. I love to work with other people. So there are a lot of TED Talks and a lot of research on how play behaviors shape your career, right? Shape what you do in your life. So that's how important play is. And imagine we don't let our kids play in this day and age of this digital social media, or like studies and tuitions and this and that. We don't let our children go to the backyard and play. So play is an extremely important part of your development. So yeah, I would suggest you all, if you don't let your children play, maybe start slow, let them go out for like 15-20 minutes and then increase it over time. All right. Okay, can I have the next slide? Yes. So this is question time. Okay. You've all learned by now what types of play, about types of play, and how Bibil was playing with the shreds of paper and everything. So tell me one incident, one play incident that you remember from your childhood, and also try and group the incident into the kind of play that you were exploring. Do you get my question? Think of one incident, a play incident that you remember, what you remember from your playtime when you were a kid, and also try and group it into types of play. So, for example, yes, I can give an example. What I remember is making a clay house, like uh, what do you do with like the sand pit? A clay thing, a mountain out of clay, okay, and a clay fort basically. And we basically also decorated them with candles. So it was constructive play and relational play, because I did it with two of my cousins, and I also constructed something, right? So that was constructive play and relational play. Kitchen set, pretend play. Very good. Drawing on the wall, playing home, and cricket. So, drawing on the wall is exploratory. Okay, playing at home, I mean, depends on what you are playing. Cricket is a rule based game, it can come under rule based or relational. I would explore a lot of pretend play with clay. Very nice. I love the responses. Hide and seek on the street. Yay, I love it. Explore a lot of pretend play, after which clay play made fingers like dolls. Okay, yeah. I also remember that I would make expressions on my fingers, and then also like make the finger wear some clothes or something. That was pretty popular. Social play, hide and seek, six stones and a ball. Constructive play, arranging stones, mangoes, flowers in the backyard. Teacher, pretend play with all toys as my students. This is great, amazing. Pretend play, imaginary role of a teacher. Yes. I used to pretend to be a doctor and my sibling as a patient, so pretend play. Very nice. Doctor, professional place. Very nice. I remember at age 6, I used to play with kitchen set, hide and seek. Chinese whispers is a great example of relational and social play. I loved Chinese whisper. ghar ghar and make rooms, kitchen, living room with stones, bricks around the ground. Yes, constructive and pretend play. A lot of plays, types of plays kind of overlap with each other, right? So I'll tell you all, my favorite experience was a relational play along with constructive play, like building the clay house thing. And I kid you not, this is what I do in my career. I build things, right? I write stories and I build things and I do it with other people. So yeah, this is how it helped me. All right. Any type of play to help improve the social skills. I don't know if Chirag is here, my colleague Chirag. He used to play by himself all the time. He would make his own rules, his own cards, own card games, and then he would like do his own fighting. And a lot of the time that he spent was spent by himself playing, right? And it was a very, very valid type of play. And now in his career, he sits alone and he animates. So that's how like he has developed into someone who likes to work alone and he loves it. He enjoys working alone. Is there any type of play to improve social skills? Yes, board games can improve social skills a lot. All types of pretend play that is done with others, like role playing or you know, kitchen, or playing at home, making a tent. But it has to be done with other kids also. And if the child is a bit introverted, you can gently guide them as a parent. So Vidya says, I had a very embarrassing experience when I was younger. My friend and I, both husband and wife, we were caught. Yes. So yeah, these are things that are not addressed in the Indian context, right? Sometimes play can also lead to when it is unsupervised, it can also lead to some I mean, how do I put it? You might not know about it, but then it can also lead to some harmful behavior or harmless behavior that is seen some like differently. So yeah, try and make it supervised. Try and tell your child about boundaries. Try and understand that a lot of kids just are very exploratory and they're playing, and it is very normal in exploratory play to think about relationships, like how they see in their lives, right? Husband and wife, or they take on very different roles. For me, I never thought that say our grandparents could be married was not a concept for me. I only thought that our parents are married and never our grandparents. That concept never registered in my head until I was like 12 years old or something. So there are a lot of things about topics and discourses about boundaries and relationships that you need to address with your kid, right? And if you see them exploring, if you see them playing and pretending, the first instinct is to just like jump and ask what's going on or whatever. But then you need to pause and think and see what's happening and then have a talk with them about this. All right. Teacher. All right. So I have loved the responses and I have loved how even difficult topics kind of came out in this discourse and discussion. So, yeah, let's move ahead. This is The next slides are going to be about your role as a parent, and it will make things more clearer for you. All right, can I have the next slide, please? All right. So back in the day, this was my first research paper on play. And we were analyzing how parents, what the role of a parent is in the play session that we were recording. All right. So a lot of parents were partners in play for help, and the parent was also happily reverting back, and they looked like partners. All right. There is also a helper stage where the child is struggling, the parent is seeing that. So the parent would just help the child gently. That is also a gentle helper role. Cheerleader is my favorite because my dad and my aunts, especially my aunts, were like amazing cheerleaders. They're like, yay, yay, this is how you play. Yay, look how amazing is your drawing. And I used to love the cheerleader role when I was a child. Okay, because for even the littlest thing that I did, my father and my, especially one of my aunts, she was like, this is the most amazing thing that you've ever done. So I would love it as a child, and it really helped me with my self-esteem. So yeah, so it's great. Cheerleader role, a lot of kids like it, a lot of kids don't like it, so it is also subjective. So analyze, like see what your context is and choose a role according to what the play session is demanding from you, or what your child needs from you. Okay. Boundary holder is also interesting, where if you're outside playing, you see a lot of things happening, like bullies, or dogs. So a gentle boundary holder is someone who makes play safe for their children. So yeah, you can use these roles. These roles can also overlap, and but what I would suggest is always make sure that the play is child led and not parent led. You can make a structure for your child as to how to play, but you can't tell them how to play. Don't tell them, otherwise you'll lose something very important, and that is data. Okay. You want to see how your child behaves in structured play, or you want to see what your child's personality is, because each child is unique, right? So if my aunt or my mom would have told me how to play, I would have never made the clay structure. I was always building as a child. I was always constructing, I was always making something. So like I always make things. That is something that I developed by myself. Nobody taught me that. What they did was facilitating, like getting me origami papers, or getting me the things that I needed to make things, and helping me if needed, right? So that's how you figure out what your child is inclined towards, and you can actually figure out what their skills are and what they might do when they grow up, if you observe the real authentic way that they play. All right. All right. So I see a lot of interesting responses. Yes, I got bullied. Yes, bullying is very sad reality, not just in our country but universally. Something as innocent as play has to be safeguarded, because there are a lot of bullies around, and yeah, it is a little difficult. We've had a session on boundaries, and something that I want to do is a session on bullying. And I think it should be done in collaboration with a psychologist. All right. So, yeah, can I have the next slide? Next slide is actually going to be an activity. Okay, all right, not this one. This one is a little scientific. Let me just explain. So, yeah, what I want to do, what we do at Coblot is facilitate a structured layer of play. So, and if you have attended any of our storytelling sessions or read or our stories, what we do is we give you a story. There is a world inside the story, and then we ask the kids to play inside that. Okay, so the first part is the story, and the next part is the activity. So that's how we function in our in the Coblot Story Club. Okay, so this is because what we believe is stories and props, it kind of deepens play, and it also teaches a lot of skills, right? So it activates multiple brain networks, these stories, language, memory, emotion. So we focus on language development and social emotional learning, and for that we use play characters, stories, and different situations as to what the characters are going through. So this is a heavy slide, right? But to explain the slide, I have made an activity. Okay. So what I want you all to do is, you don't need much, but please get a paper and a pencil. I'll give you like 1 minute. Please get a paper and a pencil. I'll give you a minute to do it. But yeah, like I want you to sit with a paper, pencil, or a pen. Anything works. This is homework for you all, but don't worry, it's very playful. Yeah. And if you've gotten it, please just type this in the comments. If you've gotten your paper and a pencil, please give me a give me a sign, please, so that I can switch to the next slide. Yeah. Okay. Let's go. Can I have the next slide, please? All right. So, yeah, if you're a part of the Coblot Story Club for a long time, I think you know this character and you know this story. But I'm just gonna narrate it once again. Okay, Grasshopper Dancy. Someone from the club is here. So this is our little Bibble. She's a fairy, and she has a very lovely home. Okay, but she's a gullible fairy, right? And she doesn't know how to place boundaries. All right, so what happens is, these there are 100 grasshoppers who just stay over at her place. So one day she says, yes, okay, you can stay, right? But what happens is, they keep extending their stay, overextending their stay, right? And she cannot say no. So every time they ask, okay, can we stay a bit longer? She says, yeah, okay, okay, you can stay for a bit longer. All right. Yeah, next slide. Let's see what happens next. And listen to this story very carefully, because the activity is going to be connected to the story. Okay. So I want you all to listen carefully. Yeah, so She is at school, she has these exams, and she's so stressed about the grasshoppers that her exams don't go well. She's so stressed about the grasshoppers just ruining her place. Okay, next. Yeah, just go to the previous slide. Previous slide. Yeah, so that's the exact thing that happens. The grasshoppers start chipping on the wooden floor, just loitering, littering everything, and breaking everything in her lovely home. And she is so stressed, she's so frustrated. All right, next one. They wake her up at 3 a.m. in the morning and they sing grasshopper dance. It's their patented song, and they dance on her wooden floor. They sing and they disturb her so much that she's more stressed now. All right, next slide, please. Yes. Now she's feeling all these emotions, okay? She's feeling frustrated when the one that you see in red, she's so frustrated and so stressed. The fire thing is anger. She's so angry. She's angry at the grasshoppers. She's so sad that she's not able to say no, right? And she wants to hit the grasshopper with a hammer. That's what she wants to do. And all these feelings, she's mixed emotions are very real. So it is very much possible to feel all these feelings when you're feeling overwhelmed, right? So she's feeling frustrated, she's feeling angry, she's feeling sad, and she's feeling resentful, and she wants to just punch the grasshopper. All right, but she actually doesn't, because she's a very gullible little fairy, and she would never, she's too polite to punch someone. Right, so all right, so this was the story. I've only narrated half of the story. What I want you all to do, it's very open ended. Okay, with your paper and your pencil, design a structured play for your child. Okay, if you want Bible characters, you can make these characters. Try and explain the concept of boundaries. Try and explain what would Bible do next, and explain, but don't preach. Okay, so what I want you all to do is design a play session around this story as to how you will explain this concept to your child. Do you get it? Yeah. So you can use all kinds of play. You can use exploratory play, you can use constructive play, you can use symbolic or pretend play, right? Any kind of play that you want to integrate in your play session is good. If you want to integrate multiple types of play, that's also very good. Brownie points if you integrate multiple methods of play. Okay. Yeah, so take 5 minutes and just, if you want, you can write, if you want, you can draw. Come up with a concept, a play session for your child. Make it age appropriate. And through play, how would you explain the concept of saying no is what I want you to take up. I'm clear, right? If there are any questions, you can ask me. Take a few minutes. If you have any questions, I'm here. And once you're done, yeah, I'll take about three people. I don't know, Pratyusha, if we can do this. Um,
Yes,
but
you can do it.
what I want to do is once they're done, I want to have three people explain their play structures to me.
Yeah, we can do. Uh,
Yeah.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Awesome. So once you're done, please type me in the chats so that the first three will get a chance to speak. Take your time to think. I know it's a little challenging, but think about it. Take your time. Think about the types of play. Think about how you used to play. Everything combined and come up with an intuitive answer. I thought I'll give you all prompts, but I think if it's left open-ended, you will give me more creative answers. So tell me, do you want some prompts as to yes, yes. You're supposed to design a play to teach the child how to say no. Okay, you want prompts. Okay, let me give you a structure. First is the first thing you can think of is structure, right? Is it story based or yeah? So the structure will be story based on Bibel's story, right? You can think of the types of play included, right? And just like a recipe, types of play and rules of the game. If it is very rule based, all right. These are the two things that you can think of. Once you think of the types of play, you might be able to design this faster. Yeah. Anyone who's ready with their answer? If we can hear one example or someone just, if you're bold enough, brave enough, me. Okay. Varshavi. Varshavi, go for it. But this is a child who has written me. Okay, go for it. Go for it. Pratyusha, can you unmute Varshavi? I don't know if I can. Yeah, I think, yeah, I can do it. I can see. Can you unmute yourself and speak? Yeah.
Clay.
Ah,
Clay and building blocks.
clay and building blocks. Okay. So
Yep.
what has your mom? Huh. Very nice. So with clay and building blocks, is your mom there? Mama is there? Yes. With clay and building blocks, how are you going to teach him how to say no? Is my question to you. Clay and building blocks is great. It is constructive play.
Tell what to say.
No, no.
I can only say no.
Yeah, you can only say no. So,
With building blocks, he'll make an O in with building blocks.
oh, yeah, that's interesting. I love it. Love it. Very nice. Good job. Good job. This is very imaginative. So, with building blocks, you make a no, it becomes constructive and it also becomes symbolic, right? So, there is a meaning attached to the building block with the no. And this can also stick in your child's head.
Yeah, and he makes X.
Yeah, it
Yeah, building blocks.
you can also make an X,
Uh,
and it also involves a lot of tactile play, right? So it
yes.
is visual, it is kinesthetic, it is tactile, which is a great way to do it. I would never have thought of it. Good job. Very good, very good. Very happy with this. Good, good, good. Love it. Anyone else? Thank you, Varshavi. Thank you for expressing this. All right. Anyone else wants to speak? See, this is, you don't have to be perfect. There are no right or wrong answers. We can come up with something so creative. Okay, Mangalam wants to speak. If you can see him or her. Virtually. Okay. First, can you unmute Mangalam?
Yeah. Good morning.
Anyways, yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Good morning. Something my video is not switching on. My camera is acting weird. Sorry for that. Yeah. So my thought was, how about a role play? I don't know how much it would work. So a role play. So the parent or the caregiver does things so much frustrating to the child, or keeps doing the same thing, that this child by himself or herself stands up and says, "No, can you please stop it?" Types, and then a few questions to reflect after that. That was my thought. Thank you.
Very nice thought. So, I want to ask, is the role play, does it involve the child or is it acted in front of the child?
No, the child is child is the child. The child should ultimately say no. So the caregiver should do things. The caregiver should become the grasshopper, doing all the annoying things, and the child should come up at one point and say, "Can you please stop it? No, this is it. I draw the line here." It should come from the child. So the caregiver or the caretaker should do the role of the grasshopper.
Actually, it's very interesting. I would add one more layer though, because the child might not know that you're role playing, and it might come as a big surprise because the child doesn't know that you're role playing, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
maybe a buffer layer of the story, either the story of like this Bibil of how she learns how to say,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? So back in speech pathology, because when you said role play, we used to be taught with this same method,
Okay.
how to deal with a child. And based on what speech and language issue the child has, the role plays used to be different, right?
Okay.
So it used to be like an entire play, and imagine like 300 students watching this role play.
Oh my. Okay.
Right. So this is how we used to learn a lot of clinical stuff. Uh,
Okay.
so yeah, it can also be done. This method can be done in front of the child, where say you are acting like the child and your partner is acting like you, and
Okay.
then first show that and then test, rather than like giving the test before, like without any warnings.
Okay. No surprises for the child, you mean to say?
Yeah, unless it's funny or something,
Yeah.
I mean, see, it is just they don't know, and these things. That's why child actors are now like protected, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
there are a lot of laws for child actors and everything, because the child's brain does not realize that this is acting.
Correct. Correct.
Right. So that's why you can use a buffer, and then the child knows that, okay, like this is acting and I'm supposed to act that way.
Mm, mm, mm. Makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah, because the child brain cannot recognize whether it is the reality or it is acting. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Good job though. I love the role play thing. It's a very cool method.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Last person to explain the play structure, and then we can move on to question and answers. After, like, I want to also state a point. Okay. So this is guest. Um, but I don't know how to unmute this guest. If you can rename yourself, it'll be possible because there are many guests.
Yeah, so yeah,
Hi.
can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm not able to switch on my camera. 1 second. Yeah, can you see?
Yes. I
Huh.
think.
So I would, try to explain my child using pretend play. So, for example, using her very own toys. If you try to explain her, saying that, for example, this toy teddy has visited Ellie's house, the elephant, and it's not respecting Ellie's boundaries. So, what would you say? You can ask a question saying that, what would you say? What would you like Ellie to say the teddy in such a way that Teddy won't feel bad, anything bad, but it would also learn how to respect Ellie's boundaries. So when I said that, she said that you can probably say that Ellie, we have to respect each other's boundaries. You can play, you can stay, you can enjoy with me, but respecting each other's boundaries would help our friendship as well as our play go better.
Right.
So
It's very cool. I love it. All three were so different from each other, but then they're also like you can do all the three things together and include all kinds of play. And this puppeteering is something that I really like because children do think that they are real characters, and especially when some soft toy is very dear to them, the relational aspect and their uh, understanding about boundaries or whatever you're trying to teach them through this soft toy is way higher than if you're using a character that they don't know about. Right? So soft toys and toys that are dear to us make more of an impact on the child. So I think this was brilliant. Thank you so much for explaining. All right. All right. So we've heard three responses, and the first one was constructive play. The second one was, say, pretend play and relational play. Right? There was a more relational aspect to it, and the third one was pretend play. Right? It did also have a relational aspect to it, but it was more of a symbolic or pretend play. So one last point that I would like to make before we move on to questions and answers is that, you know, just like our languages, we have different languages, and there's a lot of research on how if we speak different languages, there is some cognitive expansion there, right? We're better off cognitively. And this is something that I've seen in my clinic. So there is a issue like a speech disorder and speech and language disorder called aphasia, right? And aphasia happens when there is a injury to the left side of your brain where the language areas are. So what I've seen in India versus US, I'll tell you, in India, because most people are multilingual, they compensate so much better. You know, if they don't know the word, how to say it in Hindi, they would say it in Bhojpuri because they've spoken Bhojpuri in their childhood, right? So this is what this my anecdotal clinical experience has taught me, that if you know more languages, your brain is, you're more intelligent. Basically, you have more cognitive capacity. Now, just like learning different languages, if you observe that your child is playing more, has a more dominant constructive play, the way your child is engaging with is more constructive, you can slowly introduce pretend play in that construction, right? Or if your child is more dominant towards pretend play and kitchen set, you can add more elements of construction in the kitchen set, right? Maybe you know, mama teaches or papa teaches me how to build uh, like a shelf, a kitchen shelf is constructive play, right? So what this will do is introduce children will get introduced to a newer kind of play. And what happens with the overlap is something that is really cool. You will get to see how your child's play vocabulary then slowly expands. So this is something that you all need to remember. If your child has a more dominant style of play, like for me it was constructive, and then my friends who were different, you know, they used to play with dolls and stuff, I would also play with dolls. And then I started making Barbie clothes. So I added my constructive play, my making DNA with symbolic and pretend play. So this is what happens. A lot of innovation comes out of it. So yeah, with this, I end the talk today, and thank you, Vishwa Talks, and for calling me on this beautiful forum. And yes, the forum is open for questions, and I'd be glad to answer.
Thank you so much, ma'am. That was very interesting and cute interactive session.
I love it. Cute.
This
Thank
will
you.
definitely be my reference video in future to how to handle and deal with kids. Now, I would welcome Srivani Malapudi, our founder of Vishwa, to take over the Q&A session.
Namaste.
Hello.
Such a wonderful session. I was like, I have 3 grandkids, and at every point I'm looking at, oh, this is workable, that is workable. But how will I remember to do this? How will I remember to? I don't stay with them every day. I'm only there with them a few days in a week, so I can't observe them and understand. I can't observe them and understand what their current problem is. Why is my grandson sulking? What is his emotional feeling? How do I address that issue through one of the structures you were suggesting on different kinds of plays, types of plays? I mean, this is such a wonderful talk, and both mothers, grandparents should watch it. Just that as the generations have completely changed, priorities have changed, and whatever, that's a different topic. But yes, you're doing a wonderful job.
Thank you so much.
Session that you're following is a very required a must do for all mothers and grandparents. I thank you not just for the talk that you have given, but thank you for the profession that you have taken on,
Thank you so much.
contribution you're making to society. Thank you so much. Thank you to the Vishwa Talks team for getting such a wonderful talk on Vishwa Talks, and to the entire team, great job. And
Thank you, ma'am.
all the participants, I know each of you is committed to whatever, whether you're a teacher, whether you're a parent, whatever your role in life is, to be on this talk, to learn, to experiment, to implement. I would like to thank you. You are doing great service for your own families, your own schools, to society. So
Yeah.
Before moving into the Q&A, can we have a quick poll, ma'am?
yes, please.
Yes. So I would like to take just 30 seconds of your time for a quick poll. This will help us guide and know better and tailor our future topics that we can bring to you. And a big thank you to everyone here today. Your presence and participation mean a lot to us and have made this webinar a very successful.
Yes. And so I will just share the upcoming talks and then quickly go into question answers. The ecology and environment, we have done at least 25 or 30 talks till now. And the next talk is by Dr. Shishir Raval. He's an ex-professor, MSU. It's on seeds, systems, ecologies, ethics, design, and self. An overview of our common future. 27th December 2025, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. is the talk. Between 12 to 1 will be the question answer sessions. Again, another talk on ecology and environment. We are having on conservation, biology, and population genetics of endangered species. Where will the tigers go? Speaker P. Anuradha Reddy. On 3rd January 2026, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. And we have the next talk, Keeping Joint Bones Young, Ayurvedic Wisdom for Lifelong Mobility, Dr. Tara Jayashree. She's done a number of talks till now on various subjects. She's covered women issues as a child, as young adults getting into having their periods, and then what kind of as through their different stages of life, what kind of Ayurvedic leaves or fruit should you take? How should you use it? And how should you how will it impact, and for what to use it for? She's explained it beautifully. A very upcoming doctor. She's already making places. In fact, I understand the government has been encouraging Ayurveda a lot They have selected 80 gurus across the country, and they're teaching across the country for people who are interested in being a doctor in Ayurveda. And Dr. Tara Jayashree has actually given a speech for those 80 gurus. So she's a wonderful speaker. Yeah, with this, her talk is on 17 January 2026, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. and then following by a question and answer sessions. Thank you so much for all of you to be here for the entire talk. And our next, we'll continue with the Q&As. Mr. Shmuel, you've been waiting patiently. Please do come online and ask your question.
Thank you very much. You hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. A very interesting presentation. And I want to ask you a question. How, according to your opinion, play using stories can support improvement parent-child interaction among poor and low socioeconomic families?
Lower socioeconomic. Yes, yes. So, in general, as with all stratas of society, I mean, I'm sure it happens differently for different qualitative and quantitative interaction that the parents have with the children. I think primarily stories and narrating stories to kids, when it's done in a very gentle, two-way interactive street, if it's a two-way interactive street, I think it forms a secure attachment style in children when they grow up. When parents interact with children using stories, and stories are just a medium, stories are just a tool to generate more vocabulary for relating to your child. Because if there are no stories, what will you talk about? We need vocabulary, we need substance to talk about. When you go to a movie, you talk about the movie, you laugh about the movie, you think about, oh, that incident was so interesting, and you laugh, right? Even when you play, your child, when they come back, they are narrating a story. So stories are a very integral part of our vocabulary and the way we speak and the way we express, right? So what we've done is just taken that tool and used it for relational learning, right? So when this parent-child interaction happens, one is that the stress level in both parents and children decreases, right? Another thing that happens is children's language development increases, cognitive development increases, right? And their attachment to a parental figure, it becomes more secure, right? And then they develop very good tools for secure attachment somewhere else. Once you've secured an attachment with your child, the child feels secure around you, they're not anxious, or they're not missing the parents so much. They develop very interesting ways to relate with others in their life. They become more safe and more secure. So these are the things that these are the impactful skills that the kids learn from storytelling and play.
Yeah.
And parent-child interaction.
Yeah, this is a very important question, sir, that you have pulled up. And it is I just wanted to share a little bit about the current reality. For centuries, India had a culture of stories through which pathways were shown to people on what is right and what is wrong, be it the Ramayana, be it the Mahabharata, be it the Bhagavad Gita. And this was a part of the curriculum. And after independence, it has gone out of the curriculum. previously, even if a lady was studying up to the 3rd class, she knew how to read and write, and she knew the entire all the books. She used to read them. And my own grandmother, that is, I actually didn't have grandmothers, my father's sisters, that is, they used to tell us so many stories. If we don't wash our legs while entering the house, she would tell me about the story of Harishchandra Prasad, where he didn't wash the backside of his legs. So hence, this is all the pain he went through. So now the current situation in the past few decades is the socially unprivileged are in a very, very dangerous situation. The maid who cleans the house is actually buying online diapers, because we are using online. We are buying diapers, and she's spending it, that kind of money. But how is she playing with the child? Previously, for centuries, no matter what social strata you belonged in, you used to tell stories and teach your kids what's right. You know what they're doing now? Giving a phone. A phone to eat right from when they're 6 months. It is a grave situation. When you look at the Delhi rape case, the Nirbhaya case, when you look at the interviews of the culprits, yes, the lady was not in clothes which she should wear. Hence, I raped her. The lady should not go with a boy traveling at 10 o'clock in the night. I have raped her. The lady shouldn't have resisted when I was raping her. Because she resisted, I put a bar up. The situation in the past few decades, because we have left our identity, is so grave. It's not safe anymore. You have someone working in your house, and probably he's on the video watching a porn. You may be working in your house with a nightie, but he's watching porn while working in your house. The situation is very grave. This needs to be observed, accepted. The curriculums have to change. Vishwa is working on zero waste workshops across schools and colleges. And mind you, let me tell you, those schools where we work with Muslims are doing so well. They are actually so interactive, so positive, and really want to do a lot. And they have a lot of support. The Christian missionary schools support them, the Muslims support them. But the Hindu students are in a grave danger. Their eyes are like glasses. Teachers in colleges and schools are crying. Their attention span is 1 minute. How will we run classes which are of 45 minutes? They have zero knowledge. People are passing out of 10th class without knowing how to read and write. This is a very important question that you have asked, and but this is the reality right now.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know if I have deviated, but this is what's so right now.
Yeah, I mean, it is a lot of grave things can happen if there is no positive stimulation.
Yeah.
That is very important, and it cannot happen all digitally, right? It has to happen in person. How will you create the feeling of being seen, which is one of the most important things for humans, is to be seen, right? Be seen by your parent, be seen by your relatives, be seen by your friends. They need to know who you are. So how do we replicate that digitally? That doesn't happen, right? So the only thing is, like, try and spend more qualitative time with your children. Be it just 15 to 20 minutes a day. If there is quality, if you're including all the strategies, you're thinking scientifically, you might be able to, do a lot less harm to your kids than just blindly parenting. But yeah, that is my answer to this, because yeah, the reality of this country is pretty grave, especially when it comes to lower socioeconomic systems, because also there is no vocabulary there to learn things also, right? We're at least like attending these webinars and learning how to do this, how to parent, and what to do. These are strategies that are very important to explain to this to the lower socioeconomic strata. I mean, the way I think about it is to modify the language, right? To modify the training patterns, to include more role plays, to include more tactile learning is how we will be able to do it, because digitally it will get very difficult for yeah. So yeah, I mean, this is one of the things that I would really like to do in the future, is, you know, to work in government schools or get parents there. We've done this before. We've done this at an urban level. Like we had like an urban planning project where we had Anganwadis participate in this, and all the parents were there, and we taught parents and kids how to think visually about their emotions, and it went really well. So it is possible. It is possible to teach that way. It's just that you have to be very patient, and you have to have access to like Anganwadis, and access to people who can also translate this knowledge to what they might be able to understand. So what, yeah.
Yeah.
Very interesting question, though. Thank you, Shmel.
I also want to add, this is not only the problem of the socially underprivileged, this is also the problem of educated parents when both parents are working, living in nuclear families, the time they're giving to their children, um, they're not giving time. The whole concept of what is proper. In fact, my own daughter was asking, I said, the proper way, we need to live in a proper way. We're not living in a joint family, we're living in nuclear families. I, as a mother, am overloaded. They said, just cut down your work. I mean, why do you need to have your own milk? I said, I have milk because outside they're mixing it with the Fevicol and other things. Why do you need to grow on your vegetables? You don't have to go buy, because outside they're not using organic. So my children say, you don't need to. Just cut down your work and live comfortably. So the whole system in the country is turned upside down. Even in educated families, the cultures are slowly deteriorating. Yeah, because of lack of this kind of storytelling.
Yeah, and it's very interesting because now women have started like taking their careers seriously, and there's no doubt they should be working, be in the workforce. But then, like, yeah, like parenting has to change. Then, you know, parenting has to be now like the responsibility of both parents, not just one. So yeah, like that needs to change, and those conversations have to be had with your family, and like you know, you need to have a lookout for how you're gonna parent. If you're gonna raise this kid, and this kid, you want this kid to contribute to themselves and then the society. So yeah, these are difficult conversations, but yeah, they need to be had.
Also, yeah, I just slipped off my mind. So do you want to say anything on this?
Yeah, I think
One second, Mr. Shmel, I don't know who's muting. Yeah. Shmel, do you want to say anything on this?
Shmel, huh.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay. You make us think, you know?
Yeah. All right. I think Monica Patil has raised her hand.
Can you please come on a video, please?
Yeah. Monica Patil.
Yeah. So until she asks, you said there are different types of play: exploratory play, constructive play, pretend play, repetitive. And your biodata also says that you have been doing a lot of a monthly program. Can you please explain a little bit about that?
Yeah, the monthly program is actually paused, and we've been doing that. I've taken like a pause from the monthly program. So, what the monthly program did for us was incredible. We used to share these stories that we've written online, digitally on WhatsApp, and the parents used to narrate. And we also used to give a visual PDF and an audio book along with it. Now we're expanding, we're making a new story kit, a physical story kit that you can carry anywhere, and it's gonna have Tazos. If you remember Tazos that we used to get in Lay's chips and stuff. So these are like round Tazos that can be attached to each other, and they will have emotions on them. So you can use it as symbolic play and constructive play, and it's gonna have like a board and a storybook, and yeah, so that's what we're planning. It's and we're launching in January. So yeah, this is a step up from the monthly program, and that's what we're gonna do. But yeah, our core remains stories, and we are expanding to now to play and games, and yeah, through stories is what we're gonna do.
And there's so many board games now. I remember there's a game called Catan. Like when we were young, we had Monopoly. Now we have Catan. So
Yeah.
what does it teach? How to invest, how to save, how to plan for your future. It teaches strategy.
Yeah.
What games are actually if you see for centuries we had chess from
Mm.
India, we had a kind of our own style of Ludo and the beads. I mean, there are numerous Indian plays.
Yeah.
But today's problem is mental health for the children.
Yes.
Is
Yes.
there are there any games to list out what are the different kinds of problems? Like one of the game you just picked up is saying no. One of the talks you want to do is about talking about boundaries. Your talk. So, are there any? There is a need for such games, but
Yeah.
are there any such games in the market? Are there any such books which are made by Indians for the Indian market?
Yeah, there is something called emotion wheel. That's something that I've seen, where actually, when you name your emotions, a lot of your problems are solved because you're naming the emotions and expressing. That is a kind of a boundary. So that is the precursor to learning about all these complex subjects. So
Hmm.
if you can just get your child an emotion wheel of how they're, feeling at that moment, you've done like the foundational work that there is. So that is that is available. I'll actually make a list and share.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, this is this stuff that we do, talking about boundaries through stories. I haven't found any brand that does the same thing through stories, or teaching these complex subject in very easy forms. So that's why we're actually expanding to games, but this is not going to be a game, but it's just an open-ended play thing where you can construct, where you can explore your emotions, where you can read the story and see what the character is feeling. So that is something that, I wished that our stories had these props. So then we're like, okay, let's make it and then let's launch it. So that's what we're gonna do in January. And monthly program we'll start once this has launched, because for monthly program we had to write a lot of stories, and that's a lot for a small team. So but then yeah, if someone's new and wants a monthly program, we're always there like after January. So yeah, that's where we're at.
Okay. Uh, so when you were saying that they were repetitive regulative play, can you say a little bit about that?
Yeah. So in the autistic community, it's a very common type of play. It doesn't mean that if your child is repeating something or doing a behavior, it doesn't naturally mean that they're autistic. But for autistic people, stimming is something that is very regulating. So, for example, this is a type of stimming, right? Clapping or listening to the same song again and again. Swinging, swinging is also a repetitive play, because how, like, it goes on and on, it's infinite, right? But it regulates you. So when you swing a baby, it gets so stress free, it gets regulated, it stops crying. So that is the number one very good example of repetitive play, right? So everyone, like all human beings, need some kind of repetition to feel a bit regulated. You have these rocking chairs, right? If you do it again and again, you just feel good, right? Even like tearing papers or drawing patterns, that is also repetitive play. So yeah, so these kind of things are very meditative in a way, and kids are naturally inclined to do it. Maybe draw patterns on the walls, or I remember I used to draw a pattern so many times. Like, I would do it on the floor, and I still remember the pattern, I still draw it sometimes. So even henna, mehendi, is kind of a repetitive play. Somebody might have thought like years ago that, oh, this actually feels very good to draw. And the culture of henna started. And if you've practiced drawing mehendi on somebody, you will know how good it feels. These are patterns that are coming out of your head, and it feels amazing. So that is also repetitive play. So there are many kinds and many examples of this. Yeah.
Is there age appropriate games that you can suggest?
Yeah, for 0 to 3, I would suggest board books, rag books. Rag books are those cloth books that you can open and close. Fabric of any kind that they can touch, different kind of sounds that they can hear. Basically, 0 to 3, you're introducing your child to the world, right? So they need to touch things, feel things, hear things. So all those things that you see in the market that are made out of fabric, or any kind of stories that are on fabric, are really good for your toddlers. Post 3 to 6, I would suggest a little bit of rule based games. I mean, not very rule heavy, because then they'll get overstimulated. But yeah, stories, and say something like snakes and ladders is also good for 3 to 6, but they don't have to focus too much on the rules. Just play. 3 to 6, just focus on open ended play rather than rule based. Give them something to draw, and they just draw. Recently I saw something, Skillmatics is doing a foil fun. That is also really cool repetitive play, where they're designing these foils and putting them in holes. So this also improves your fine motor skills. And yeah, so this is good for like 3 to 6. Post 6, you can target like more complex structures. 6 or 7 is a good age to introspect and think about different rules and strategy and stuff. So age appropriate would be, yeah, there is a lot of stuff available on Skillmatics. It's a good brand. So any kind of kit or constructive play. And if you're looking at a strategic would be like our old board games of chess or shatranj, or all these rule based board games be good after 7, I feel. Yeah, there's a lot of things. But yeah, this is just like
Like I remember when I was taking care of my children when they were young, I remember buying a book which actually told at what age what skills to teach and what games to play with them. Is there any such book available right now in the market?
Yeah. Oh, a book.
Yes.
To check. But milestones are readily available
No,
online.
no. Like you said, 0 to 3, what issues do they face? How do we address it?
Yeah. There's a lot of literature online. So I'll actually make a list and send it to you. It is, I mean, it's a big research project as to like what happens. So speech pathologists, as speech pathologists, we study what development milestones that kids reach from the age of 0 to 14, right? So there are many different scales available, right, that map the milestones. So when does the child start saying baba or kaka for each sound? Because the k sound comes later, or r sound comes much later in life. And so we map it on a sound level, we map it on, a language level, we map how many words that the child needs to say by this age. So those mental milestones are studied by speech paths. Yeah, and I'm very sure even psychologists study these things in terms of behaviors of children. um yeah, so maybe I can also share some of the scales that I've mentioned, and you all can have a look.
Okay. Um,
Yeah.
then,
Monica Patel.
yeah. Yeah, I had a very embarrassing experience when I was younger. My friend and I, both girls, were innocently playing as husband and wife using our toy kitchen set. We were caught during the game, but instead of understanding that it was just harmless role play, we were ashamed of it. Okay, that's a statement.
Yeah, I did address it earlier in this session. And I think that both parents and you also need to educate kids on safe pretend play, right? Because a lot of things can happen during unsupervised play,
Yes.
because they're kids and they don't know better, right? So a lot of information about boundaries, bodily boundaries, saying no needs to be taken care of every day. Like almost every day, you need to talk to your child about boundaries and safety and safe play, right? And then the child will have the confidence to navigate around play and what their own boundaries are. Like for example, my niece was here, and she was just called by an uncle of ours, and uncle is very innocently saying sit here, but then I saw her expression that she did not want to sit. And then I like quickly called her and I'm like, did you want to sit with that uncle? And she said no, no. And then I told her, like, we in the Bible story, we learned how to say no. You should say no when you want to say no, don't say yes, right? And pause and think if you want to go and sit with that uncle. So then she got the concept of these boundaries. If she doesn't want to, she can just say no. And if the uncle, even if he feels bad, it's not the child's responsibility, is what so yeah, this might be a separate example, but yeah, I think during that time there was not enough knowledge on how kids play and what might happen. So it is a fear that was enacted on the parents' behalf. But now with so much information around, you can educate your kids and also be educated yourself, to make sure that the pretend play, even if it's happening, it's all innocent, it's safe for the child. That is the number one priority that you need to have.
Yeah. You have mentioned an extremely critical thing. Today, children as even 1-year-old need sex education. because we've become nuclear families. We've become closed families where you just have one son, and he doesn't know how the female body looks like. He wants to know. He's curious. And there's so many stories you hear. They want to touch your breast and see is it soft? Is it hard? How does it look? How is it different? Or they will ask a friend to show what it is at 2 years, 3 years. They don't know whether it's right, whether they don't know whether it's wrong. What are one excellent way of educating is books, schools. And parents are unaware of this. In fact, there was a beautiful show done by comedian Zarna Garg. It was so good. But there is no such, even if there could be more YouTube videos on this, it would have been great. This is a topic that needs to be addressed today. Nothing right, nothing wrong. It's just children need to be educated.
Yeah, because they're naturally very curious. All of us are. You can't always supervise them. But yeah, like safely teach them their bodily boundaries. If a
Yes.
child asks them to show their private parts, like the natural reaction should be no, right? Because it is something that, I mean, as a parent, it's your responsibility to talk about like these bodily kind of boundaries, because then otherwise it kind of leaves an impact, even if the act was kind of innocent. So, yeah.
So what's the right way? If a 1-year-old child says, "How does a girl look?" Boy says, "How does a girl look?" What's the right way to address it?
I mean, mm, I'll need to think about it. If it's 1 year old is like very, very young.
2 years old,
Yeah, I think maybe
maybe.
clay can be an interesting way to like a constructive play sort of a thing without being very explicit.
Okay.
Naming the parts just normally, being very casual and normal about naming the parts. Well, yeah, it's subjective, and each parent has their own method of doing it. And you can basically have a very safe conversation that, okay, like these are your body parts, and these are a girl's body parts, right? And maybe like this is how like a girl's body looks like, but then not showing like it this explicitly, but yeah, this is how it looks like, and it is very, very normal. Like normalize it to an extent where it's not that interesting anymore.
While stimming repetitive play keeps autistic kid regulated, how can we help him to also observe things happening around him so that he gets to experience them, which might also improve his play creatively?
Yeah, don't stop stim. I mean, don't push your child to stop stimming, because see, stimming is a secondary behavior. So if you see your child, they're stimming, okay, like they're doing this, but what you don't notice that they're also observing with their ears, with their they're very observant about the context. Maybe they might not look at the object like you. They might look and just look down and stim again. That's their way of observing different things in nature, or improving, like it's their way to play and be creative. So, and autistic kids are naturally very, very creative, so you don't have to worry too much about the stimming thing. Just treat it as a very normal part of their life.
With this, yes, we'll conclude. All the question and answers are over. Thank you so much, Apramita. Thank you once again. And thank you to all the participants and to Vishwa Talks. Bye-bye. Can we join the room, Pratyusha?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much, everyone, and have a great day.
You're always organizing a great session. I am a regular follower of your sessions. Thank you. Basically, I am environmental background and environment session also too good. So I would like to know where your recordings are available so that I can go through.
They're all available on YouTube. We have
Okay.
a channel, Pratisha, please say what's the name of the channel?
It's Vishwa Talks, ma'am. The YouTube channel name is Vishwa Talks.
Go into the channel, whichever topic you're interested in, you can choose that particular playlist.
I will do that now. Thank you. Thank you so much for your all patience and
Oh.
great work.
I have shared the link, ma'am, in the chat box. Please check the YouTube channel.
Actually join because your all speakers are excellent and all the topics are actually very essential and today's need.
Yes, yes. Thank you. That's a wonderful feedback, ma'am. Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Will it take? Yeah.
Yes, I saved the chat.